Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Warriors of Chaos versus the Empire here on the Hidden Oasis. Protevs, a player in our Discord, is going to be playing Chaos, and Gully is going to be on the Sons of Sigmar with the dreaded Hochland long rifles. Let's go ahead and break down these builds and have some fun. Looking here at the Forces of Chaos, going to be kind of an old school build actually, because back in the Warhammer 2 days, and even in the earlier game really, Warhammer 1, Warhammer 2, Warriors of Chaos used to do a big great weapon check against the Empire because the great weapons would be able to dominate all of the Empire infantry and also dominate their cavalry. Times have changed for sure, but even still, the Chaos Warriors with great weapons and baseline Marauders are both viable choices against Empire. And we do have the dreaded Marauder Horsemen and Throwing Axes, which are a good choice against Empire, can do good against heavy cav and their big monsters. Valkia also quite nice with Sleipnir and Demon Shield. On the other side, a couple more infantry, so Homeboy really going to be doing an infantry check, and most likely we'll have mass Hellstriders as well as some caster in reserve. Now for the Son of Sigmar over here, he's going to be rocking Hochland long rifles, so they're going to be setting up shop and taking those pot shots downtown, trying to shoot Valkia, which is a very tall order. The rest of the army is going to be spearmen with silver bullets lurking in the shadows, and a Heavens caster, very fun. So Comet of Cassandora as well as Uranan's Thunderbolt. So this is an interesting map. You know, when I first played it, it's one of the creative assembly maps. This was actually a quick match game, so it was not from one of our tournaments or Total Tavern maps. So it's the Wild West a little bit. But when I first saw this map, you know, it was one of the ones from, I think it was one of the second generation of CA maps that they did do with one of the updates. I didn't like it at first, but the more I play on it, it actually makes for some interesting games. You could put some archers and artillery like mortars up here on the high ground, and they can actually do some work, which is very fun. But the Hochland's able to rip some shots here. Now, how you would want to play this as the Empire is you would want to just, he's actually kind of relatively on track here, but you would want to park a Hochland right here, and right here, and just have them be able to kind of shoot objective 2 and cover 3 and deny the flank here. So you would need to kind of have some anti-large cav or Empire Knights or something that could keep Hellstriders from going balls deep in your backfield. Because the idea would be, if you extend and deploy your formation like he is now, you leave a big flank opening here. So the way to tighten that up is to obviously, have some cavers. His static infantry can screen it to an extent, but you would need a lot more. Whereas having like a Demogryph Knight Halberd or some Knights of the Blazing Sun, whatever, any sort of a cav unit will do the trick. This is actually kind of tricky for the Empire though, because this line of sight on this map is really brutal. You got these 4 kind of Tomb King's pillars here, these Sphinxes, which are super cool looking. They're going to be kind of blocking quite a bit. In the back, Hochland shooting away and shooting into Valkia, which is definitely not what they should be doing. Shooting into the Warriors would be the ideal choice, but it does look like Homie here is playing the train very well. He's playing some 40k. So Warhammer the Old World, the tabletop game, is not super terrain heavy. I mean, it has some. Most tournaments will have good terrain. Shout out to the Old World Legends; they do a great job at that. But this is like more like 40k, where like there's tons of obstructive terrain for shooting because it's the only way the game is balanced. If you play an open field, the shooting armies are just going to dominate. But we do have an Air Force fight going down. It's going to be the Toadbringer battling against Valkia and putting a little bit of hurt down. She's actually taking some bullets from the Hochlands, and some of the Hochlands able to form ranks. I honestly really like the formation from Gully here. Having the Demogryph Knights here as a sweeper unit to keep his back line from being pushed, but it is going to be very hard to get the Forces of Chaos off. So it looks like Empire's just trying to win the Lord fight, but Valkia, she was made for this for sure. I mean, and what you want to do is Valkia, which is probably what ProDevs is going to be doing here, is basically using Demon Shield to fight. When it wears off, you run away. A little bit of a, I guess you could perceive it as a cowardly tactic from a Khorne Lord, but it is the smart tactic for trying to win the game. So Valkia is going to be fleeing as she is going to be eating some gunfire, and the Empire is going to be sending in spearmen. Now this is a bit of a mistake, I would say. You do not want to gauge your infantry in such a way. You would want to probably call in grenade launchers to buffer them, so you would sit on the edge of the objective here and use grenade launchers to slow push the Forces of Chaos off, while, slowly poking them with the various guns. Not the end of the world. I mean, the spearmen will do okay, but the Marauders are just going to cut them up, and it's going to be rough. Now, Demis are going to be sent into combat. Demogryph Knight Halberds are actually not the worst against infantry. They do have 34 melee attack and almost a charge bonus of 50, so if you get them in sustained combat versus Marauders, they can do fine. Heavens caster lurking back here, and it looks like there is going to be a Hell Cannon called out for the Forces of Chaos. So ProDev calling out the Hell Cannon. Now, the Celestial Wizard, if used correctly, is a pretty hard counter to the Hell Cannon. You just drop a Fat Comet or Uranan's Thunderbolt on its face, and you're going to be able to really send it to the Shadow Realm there. Hochlands are able to get some shooting in, and it looks like the Empire is going to be moving its Hochland long rifles up to threaten the Hell Cannon, which honestly I don't hate that idea. And down in the middle, Hochland long rifles shooting into the great weapons where they can, and the Sigmarite infantry lines are faltering a little bit, and this is actually a really bad trade here if he stays. Demogryph Knights do not want to be fighting infantry great weapons, especially a Chaos Warrior. The Warriors will uptrade into them extremely hard, so that is not any smoke that you do want. Empire Knights being called in, and it looks like there's going to be a fat comet. Oh, dropping the Comet of Cassandora. So the comet does a lot of damage to the crew, but it also damages the artillery piece. Now, if the Celestial Wizard uses a cheaper spell, does he have one? Rhiannon's Thunderbolt, it will destroy the Hell Cannon most likely, and that thing will be offline. Sending the demis back here is a bit of a mistake. Probably. We'll see if he gets punished for it, like by some Hellstriders. Because the problem is, yeah, the Trolls will trade pretty well into... Well, not the Demogryphs will trade well into the Trolls, but Valkia and Hellstriders can be called out, which are going to counter them pretty hard. So, back in the epicenter of fighting on the other side of the battlefield, we do see the Demogryph Knights able to bunch them up, and it looks like a Shadow Wizard is called out by the Empire. I believe that Pit of Shades had to have come from somewhere, and it did really good damage against the Great Weapon Infantry there. So that was a very, very nice Pit of Shades. Now, the backfield, let's see how this combat is looking. It looks like the Hell Cannon must have partially dodged the Thunderbolt, but it did take a little bit of work. Toddy going in, and the demis might be able to break these Trolls because Todbringer does have leadership discouraging effects, which makes the Trolls get terror routed very easily. And now he's going to be sending in the Celestial Wizard, and he does finish off the Hell Cannon. So, you know, mission accomplished, but is he going to be able to get out unscathed? That is the question, because just like the Dwarves in Tolkien, he delved too greedily and too deeply, and he might be a little bit balls deep in his opponent's backfield here. On the other side, Hochland Long Rifle is able to find some shots. You know, despite the line of sight blocking, Homie has worked quite well to get his line of sight up, and it looks like, oh, a Shadowcaster from Chaos. Okay, I think he just Pit of Shaded his own guys a little bit there, but, you know, it's Chaos. They were probably not, you know, doing the will of the Dark Gods, and it all worked out, but the Great Weapons, see what we talked about, like, how the Great Weapons, if they're not just being hammered by shooting, are really good sustainable options against the Cav units as well, because those Great Weapons will drag down these Empire Knights 100%, and they're going to be incredibly difficult for the Empire to remove. Because I think the Empire's magic is just Heavens. Yeah, so I was like, that's why I was confused earlier. I was like, does he have a Heavens caster and a Shadow caster? So, all things considered, the Demogryph Knights do knock down a Troll. If this Celestial Wizard rallies, then it won't be the worst kind of investment that the Empire made. Demogryph Knights guarding the Hochland Long Rifles, which continue to shoot and are getting good line of sight into the Chaos Warriors. Empire Knights fighting in the pits here. Wrestling that objective is going to be very, very tough. And does he have grenade launchers? Free Company Militia. Free Company are great. They're good in almost every matchup. Hellstriders coming down this way. But yeah, the Free Company Militia, the best thing about them is that they are Vanguard. So having a Vanguard 36 movement speed infantry that's pretty cheap to move up and just poke objectives is quite nice. And that is going to be a decent Pit of Shades right there. So it is going to be tickling the Empire Knights, which then are going to be getting pushed by the Warriors of Chaos. Silver Bullets really getting down and dirty. Some of the Hellstriders tried to advance in, shut down the Hochlands, were intercepted by Gully and Boris. And here, Silver Bullets park into the river, ripping some glorious shots into some evil heretics over there. And it looks like the Chaos Warriors using the World of Warcraft arena tactics and doing some pillar humping, which honestly was like the lamest thing ever. I was a big arena player back in the World of Warcraft days, and I always thought that was so stupid. I mean, I understand it maybe from a balancing perspective, but from an immersion perspective, it was so dumb when like a Resto Druid was just humping a pillar, and like you had like some Benny Hill like DPS chasing it around. It was the dumbest thing ever. But on the backfield, what do we got? We got Marauder Horsemen throwing axes. Yeah, cleaning up the spearmen. But those brave Sons of Sigmar holding back many of the heretics, and the Empire down in value. But Boris Todbringer has been able to get a lot of healing. Free Company Militia moving in, Silver Bullets moving in as well. Definitely want to just put those guys on sit mode so they'll just sit and shoot instead of trying to actually manually target things. Free Company Militia, the same thing, could be parked in the middle here, and the Empire might be able to actually break Chaos off the middle. Chaos looking a little bit raggedy here, and Boris Todbringer is going to eventually be able to break the leadership of these units. He has Crush the Weak and Blood Roar, so negative 12 leadership in tandem with his Terror is very, very nasty. On the side, Free Company Militia shooting against these Marauders, and we do see Chaos encroaching a decent amount of points. Valkia is a little bit low, but Chaos is resurgent. They were very pinned up in their backfield, defending their business for a long time. But now we got 3 Troll units coming in. Demogryph's going to be trying to run Intercept. Good micro from the Chaos player here, pulling his Trolls back on top of the Forsaken before charging in. We'll make it so they don't take the brunt of it. A couple Hochland Long Rifles going to be forming up the ranks, and one Troll unit does get pounded pretty good as the other Hochlands here are ripping some effective shots. But finally, the cookie jar is open, and this is the time of Chaos here, as the Hellstriders, they're going to thrive in Chaos. A lot of isolated Empire units, although the Hochlands used all of their ammo, and it looks like the Empire is able to wrestle the middle point. But their Silver Bullets and their Empire Cavalry and their Empire Knights, Free Company Militia also arriving, they do manage to get it. But are they going to be able to win and hold it? Because man, oh man, the Chaos Army here is very good quality. Melkoth's being activated from Chaos on the Horsemen, very good. The Chaos Warrior Great Weapons are going to be basically beat all these units. Eventually, I think the Empire might get pushed off here, and I can totally see Chaos getting it back in their clutches. Free Company Militia versus Hellstriders. Honestly, a decent trade for the Free Company. Free Company are just a very numerous unit, 120 models, and Hellstriders are terrible against infantry, unless they're Hellscourge. They have super low melee attack. I mean, they can still be used to clear up chaff units and whatnot, but in general, they're not going to be having a good time. Toddy comes in, going to be helping to break their leadership, and the middle is slowly ebbing its way back to the inexorable grindiness of chaos, as the Chaos Warrior Great Weapons slowly breaking the Spearmen. Empire Knights also going to be losing against these units. Silver Bullets, a little bit unfortunate positioning from our Empire Champion. Just sitting him on the back of the river right here and using the bullet, just hail of fire, would be very, very nice. All right, Demogryph Knights with Halberds on their way down, and we do see Demogryph Knights with Halberds coming here as well. And might be able to stabilize this objective for Sigmar, because Forsaken will take a bit of a beating as well from Demis. And it does look like a Pit of Shade's going to be activated right there. It's going to be tickling those Free Company Militia and removing some capture weight. Spearmen do arrive, though, and Toddy is nearby. Looking at the points as it currently stands, Chaos is up by a bit, but the Empire is kind of creeping back here. Free Company Militia shooting where they can. Good play here from Gully, pulling back the Silver Bullets, and Valkia still being a menace, as the Great Open Warriors continue farming and doing their work for the Dark Gods. As far as this position goes, let's take a look. We do see Empire with a double cap right now. Beautiful Combat of Cassandora right there. That was a really, really nice one. Nails like the entire Chaos army. And we do see a big rout going down, guys, as the Trolls are being pushed back by the Demogryph Knights, Boris Todbringer, the Spearmen fighting in the water, wading through the water, pushing up the hill against Chaos with their Demogryph Knights. Very, very epic looking shot right there. But yeah, Chaos getting hammered pretty good right now, as they do get pushed back really, really hard right here. I'm thinking that, if you're the Chaos player, he's got a lot of supplies for some reason. Maybe he doesn't have anything to summon. That is something you can run into if you don't unsummon effectively. But no, he actually calls in a couple units, so maybe he was waiting and is going to be doing a split push on objective 1. Not split push, but making sure he can hold that. We'll have to see. Or reinforcing the middle. Time will tell. But the Empire does break open the Chaos lines over here towards Objective 3. We see the Armored Chaos Trolls running. Some of them will rally and come back, but many of them are very tattered. Spearmen and Hochland Long Rifles are going to be resummoned here for Gully. As in the middle, a fat, erect Comet of Cassandora going to be bringing the heavens straight to the face here of these evil heretics. And boom! Karate chop in the river. That is one way to send the Chaos Warriors packing. And with that, the Empire most likely is going to be able to stabilize this. We'll have to see. Boris Todbringer coming into battle Valkia. In a straight fight, he will win. It depends if she has her Demon Shield active. Valkia getting in the business pretty good from the Toadbringer. Toady getting in there, and Valkia is going to be fleeing, shaken and stirred. So coming on down are the Chaos Warriors. Going to take them like 45 minutes to arrive, and a couple of heretics also fighting over here. And, Chaos Trolls, they didn't hear no bell. They've come back, but they are fighting a lot of anti-large, so it's going to be a very precarious fight for them as Empire Spearmen do arrive to hold that one down. The Empire player is creeping up on points, and is he going to have enough to win on just one? Oh man, it's tight. I think that the Empire, as it currently stands, will win on just the 2. If they can hold it. Valkia getting broken and down on the river. We do see the Demogryph Knights hanging in there and most likely holding it down. Looking pretty bleak for Chaos. We're going to see if they can rally here in a minute. So Chaos Warriors are coming on up, moving down towards the objective. Some of them being unsummoned, the Shadowcaster being unsummoned as well. Valkia, Benny Hilling, and honestly, this is a good play. Just getting your opponent interested in Valkia, because then their big, expensive, healthy lord is chasing something and not going to be impacting the battle elsewhere. So that is a good idea. So Chaos Warriors going to be heading to the middle here, and a couple of Hellstriders were summoned during the fast-forward period, trying to intercept some of the Empire Cavalry and run down the Hochlands, but they are run down by Demis as well as Empire Heavy Cavalry. And okay, maybe Chaos has got a little bit of fight left in them. Considering they have the points lead, Empire will win on just the 2, but I mean, the Trolls coming back and the Marauders, and maybe they're going to be able to edge something out. With a fresh Chaos Warrior also moving into the middle, they are getting hammered by quite a bit of firepower. We have the Floppy Hats of Doom. Free Company Militia are so sick. Look at these Chad Floppy Hat guys. Really getting in there and laying into the old Chaos Warriors. But the Chaos Warrior armor holding firm. I would imagine maybe a little bit more Heaven's Magic is going to be on the table. I think these Chaos Warriors and Marauders need to be sent to the middle. It's all hands on deck at this point. Although Chaos looks like they're threatening this point. Empire Cav do arrive. And here's the thing. If the Warriors of Chaos are able to re-grab this objective for even a moment, that could put it into a triple cap situation for the Empire, considering how far behind they are on points, and then the Empire might lose that. So Hellstriders coming in, and I think that's what's going to happen here, guys. I think that's the direction that this game is going. Toady, if he can get here in time, will be able to mass terror out these Trolls with his leadership aura, And he does get in, and boom, there goes the trolls. The trolls are going to be breaking. Their leadership is going to be shattering on some of them, since they have already broken a couple times. Lots of Forsaken and lots of Great Opens coming in. I mean, that is a scary wall of doom to see coming towards you, right? Just legions and legions of Chaos and Great Open Warriors. That is just pure heavy metal right there. I mean, Chaos is such a cool faction. All right, so back towards objective number 1. What do we see? We see the Empire holding that one down. On the middle, the Empire's holding it. Correct play from our Chaos Champion by rotating from objective 1, because even if the Empire goes for this, you have Hellstriders. So you can intercept a lot of threats very quickly, and Marauder Horsemen and whatnot, and threaten that capture weight. All right, back here to this side, the Empire just fighting tooth and nail to try and hold on to this, but Hellstrider's still going strong, and more Hellstriders going to be running some interference. Valkia, if she had a Sleipnir right now, that would just be super god tier. More Forsaken arriving, Chaos Warriors, and she did have a Sleipnir, very nice. And she's going to be going for it. I mean, hey, all hands on deck at this point, right? If she has Demon Shield active, I think this could be a safe play, but without it, a little bit risky. Okay, that's going to be about 11 or 12 capture weight coming up. Hellstriders running interference, blocking the demis and the reinforcements. Chaos starting to flip that objective, and Chaos also flipping the middle. I mean, the Imperial Defenders on the middle point, a little bit flimsy. The Celestial Wizard also is a flying unit, so he's not going to be providing any capture weight here, as we do get to 1,400 points for the forces of Chaos. And man, Empire's right behind him right now, guys. It is such a freaking close game. A couple Hellstriders coming in. Boris Todbringer trying to break what he can, but the forces of the Dark Gods look like they're going to be cackling. And I honestly thought that game was kind of over for a second. It looked like the Empire had it, but those just meat walls of infantry coming forward. The Empire, without their Hochlands, did have a little bit of trouble clearing them. Really, really was hungry for grenade launchers. Grenade launchers would have been super good for our Sigmar champion. But with Chaos getting the 2 objectives and being ahead on points, they're 100% going to win the game. And it looks like Chaos might even have an opportunity to flip the middle, as that is going to be GG well played. He's too far ahead, and what a knockdown, drag-out fight in the pits, man. Fun match. So well played to both players. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Big MVPs for Chaos were just their simple Great Open Warriors, I think. I mean, the value wasn't too crazy, but their sustained grinding seemed good, and they did drag down a lot of big targets. Hellstrider's always good. Armored Trolls, very classic Chaos build, right? A lot of players nowadays would maybe substitute the Armored Trolls for the Blood Beast, but I still think the OG Armored Trolls are very good. The healing is clutch. And the Empire build was honestly solid. The biggest issue the Empire player ran into was the line of sight. That map was very punishing for his build, and he still did a really good job fighting despite having disadvantages with the battlefield, and made it a very close match. But aside from the build, yeah, like Hochlands are good, probably going down to 2. Like as you encounter, I think trying to defend 3 is just so rough. I think 2 Hochlands cut the freaking Luminarch. You probably aren't like deep enough into a sniping build to justify the Luminarch. Although it is very Chad. I love it. You got to have your own personal expression, right? If we're just talking like educational min-maxing and whatnot, the Heavens Wizard wasn't bad. He actually was pretty good at clearing out the warriors and whatnot. So I don't hate that. Opening build is fine. So like 2 Hochland silver bullets, and then maybe just get some. He really needed grenade launchers. Like if he cuts the chevrons off this, maybe cuts 1 free company, cuts this, and just maxes out on like 2 or 3 grenades, it's going to be a world of a difference for him. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you around. Well played, these champions, and that is it for today.